One of the most common questions I get asked is, how do I get higher paying clients? How do I charge more for my video work? So I'm excited to share what has worked for me, and hopefully it could speed up the process for you as well. And I would say the first 7 years or so when I started doing this, I just couldn't figure this out. It just wasn't a very clear answer to this question. So I was basically just doing videos for whatever price I could get. And it made me really frustrated because I just felt like I was better, but I couldn't really justify a higher rate. When I tried to charge a higher rate, I felt like I was losing to the competition. And I think it's pretty clear, and I think everybody would agree, that the video production world is pretty crowded, especially in the last 10 years. More and more are jumping in with the whole world of content creation on social media too. Now there's a whole new set of basically people that are competing for the same type of jobs. So how do we level up so we could compete at a different level? So we don't compete on price. So we don't compete for the bottom of the barrel. Let me share 3 different things that has worked for me, and I think if you implement them, you're gonna see a whole different level that you may not be seeing right now. The very first thing I want you to try to do and think about is you need to super specialize and niche down with the type of content that you create. So with specializing, basically when I was starting out, I was a filmmaker, right? I would produce, shoot, and edit your projects. And sometimes I would do this for like $500, right? But when I realized, wait a minute, there are people that are making $500 just for doing one of those things. So then I was like, okay, what's the thing I enjoy the most? And at that time, it was being a cinematographer, it was shooting. I didn't like editing that much. I didn't like directing as much, and I didn't like putting all of it together. So when I specialized as a cinematographer, in a very short amount of time, I was charging closer to $1,000, and sometimes when I work with gear, closer to $1,500 per day. When before that, I was doing a whole video for like $500. Now I didn't have to do post-production. I didn't have to even put it together. A producer or a production company would hire me, I would show up, I would shoot, and I would get a much higher rate. Now, my skill set, I was working on all the time. So it was at a point where I stood out from other people that are doing the exact same thing. But now I wasn't competing with all these, do-it-yourself filmmakers that could do everything. I was at a different level. So then when producers saw me as a cinematographer and saw me as that specialized cinematographer, I was at a different level. Later on, I actually met cinematographers that were charging $3,000, $3,500 a day. And what I found is you could actually specialize even further. So at $3,500 a day, they were not in the same level as me. Yes, their skill might have been more, but they were more specialized. So for example, one of them only used a Phantom, shot 1600 frames, and only shot tabletop videos, right? Product videos on a tabletop, right? That's so specialized, but he was still a cinematographer. But now the competition, right? We started with 10,000 people. Now he's competing with like 3 people, right? I'm still charging maybe like at the $1,000 level, I'm still competing with a good amount of people. So I learned that if you specialize to the point where you're, kind of in a category of 5 or 10 people that could do the thing that you're doing, you're charging a whole different level of money, okay? It's just not competing at the bottom of the barrel anymore. So that's specializing, and by niching down, I mean the type of projects that you take on. Again, if you do everything, if one day you're doing short films and the next day you're doing a music video and the next day you're doing a corporate video and a wedding, you're not niching down. You're just doing whatever that comes on your plate, which I totally understand. And again, that's the 7 years where I was stuck doing all of this stuff. But when I specialized, when I focused, when I did marketing videos in a documentary style, that was basically the way I was able to level up. When I started as a cinematographer, really focusing on resorts and food videos, I was able to charge a lot more than everybody else. So that's really one way to get you to the next level. Just yesterday, I hired a plumber. He came in, he took care of the problem in 15 minutes, charged me $150. Okay, so his hourly rate, let's say, is $150. Last week, he wasn't available. I hired a handyman and his rate was $25. So how could the plumber charge 6 times more than the handyman, and they both claimed they could solve the same problem? Because he specialized, so of course I was willing to pay 6 times more, because that's exactly the problem I had at that time. right? Even the handyman, even though he said he would fix it, he didn't. He wasn't able to. So when you specialize, people are willing to give you more because you will save them time. You will get the thing done better than the other competition out there. And I think if you are able to do it, I know it's difficult because most likely you have a lot of different things coming your way. But if you take the next 6 months and try to really narrow down on the thing that you want the most and specialize in it and niche down, it will change everything going forward. Number 2 is level up your clients. And the most common issue I see here is people ask me, well, how do I get a client to pay me more? That is pretty hard, okay? If you have your existing clients already and you're trying to raise your price on your existing clients, that's probably my least favorite way to make more money in video production. What I rather do is I rather level up my clients, okay? So the clients that are hiring me now at a lower rate, that's what they could afford most likely, right? In most cases, they're not taking advantage of you. It's just what makes sense for them, right? But this is how I approached it a long time ago as well. Let's say, just for the sake of this example, I did a video for a lawyer for $500. Okay, I shot and edited a video when I was doing everything. Then what I would do is, instead of trying to get that lawyer to pay me $2,000 or $3,000, right? Because that's just not gonna work. I would have to incrementally go from 500 to 600 to, it might take me years to level up that client. But what I could do instead is take that example. Now I could do some marketing, do some paid advertising, and use that example to try to get a lawyer, a law firm actually, of 5 lawyers, let's say, that could afford $3,000 for a video. So now I just went from 500 to 3,000. Now I make sure my deliverables are at a higher quality. I may bring someone to help me on that shoot, and then I could provide something that's of a better value, and that law firm could afford me because I just leveled up my clients. I just see it that way, as a tier system. And the lawyer might be at level 1 or at tier 1, and the next tier could be a law firm of 5. Then I would be like, okay, now how do I get a $10,000 project? Well, again, it's not that law firm with 5 lawyers. I already know what they're gonna pay, right? Now I need to see what the next level is. So then I pursue that next level. Now, because with the first step, because I had niche down, it's a lot easier. They see me as the expert, right? Maybe I only make law firm videos. They see me as an expert, and I have the right examples as I level them up. And eventually I use the same technique to get government jobs and to basically get the biggest law firms around here with over 1,000 lawyers as a client. So it's a really simple technique. It does take time, and you do have to start at a low level and move up. But that's how you get higher paying clients, by leveling up like this. And I use marketing techniques that I'll cover in other videos with making landing pages and driving traffic to a very specific offer. And that's how I get clients using this technique. And finally, the third one I wanted to share with you, and these all work together. You could do all 3 things, okay? So I would start with niching down and specializing, even if you're freelancing. Then I would go to think of my client and see what is the next level of that client. Not that specific client, just in a category of clients. What's the next company I could work with to level me up so I could charge more? And the third thing is, you got to think of yourself as a production company and pitch yourself as a company. As long as you sell yourself as a solo creator, videographer, filmmaker, that's you, you're going to have a very hard time convincing clients to pay you more. But if you pitch yourself as a company, and again, this is with the newer clients you're going to bring in, they are going to see you at a whole different level. And the benefit of being a company, now you could actually hire people to help you, right? So now you show up maybe with 3 people to do the production. Someone's gonna pick up the phone when the client calls. Now you're at a different league, right? So the clients are going to see that. This is one of the best things I ever did, is go from a solo creator and a filmmaker to running a production company. I still could go to the shoot. I still could direct or be a cinematographer on my own projects, but I don't have to do that, right? I could basically do 3 projects on the same day now and just manage it. Now, by doing this, I was able to level up those low-paying clients by acquiring much higher paying clients because I pitched myself as a video production company. So if you were to follow my path, those are the 3 things I would do in that order. Specialize. That's the very first thing I would do if you're freelancing. Then I would try to level up my clients, and in combination, pitch myself as a video production company So they see a bigger perceived value because now they're dealing with a company. The problem with being a solo creator is, a lot of people won't just pay you enough, because if you show up by yourself to do a shoot, it's so hard to explain the value of that to the client, where they just can't quickly grasp it, right? So they like to see a team show up, and now you could charge at a whole different price point. Now, as a video production company, you could handle larger projects because you could assemble teams, you could be more responsive, you could just show the client more value, and you could charge a whole lot more. Most filmmakers and videographers never get out of that one-person solo creator mode. Even if they have a video production company, they really don't put teams together. They still show up and they do sound and they do video and they do the editing and they do a lot of it themselves. And then they wonder why the client is not seeing their value, because their client is still just seeing one person doing everything. They're not gonna get it. So you need to assemble a team, you need to show up as a video production company, and that will level you up and you will get higher paying clients combining all these techniques. So I'll follow up with some marketing techniques to exactly how to do this, but this mindset shift is really most of the work. Just being able to take the time, push away the things that are not relevant, that are not in your niche, that are not in your specialty, and to focus and to be perceived as a video production company, because you're gonna put all the pieces together, is going to level you up. This is going to be the most important thing, these 3 things in that order of what you could do to get higher paying clients. So I hope you found this video useful, and I'll catch you next week.